All right, it looks like it is 7:30, so we must go worldwide with the December 8, 2020 Village of Terrace Park Council meeting. We'll call that to order, and if you would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I can appreciate that that was a bit awkward, but I think it's very important that we continue to recognize the great place that we live in. Mrs. Lyons, would you please call the roll?
Gasky,
I'm here.
Ingebrigtsen. See you. Lehman,
Here.
LeMay, Lindell,
Here.
Sharp,
Here.
Mayor Tuppy.
He is here. I don't know if Lauren had a chance to chime in, but I see her being present as you noted. Approval of the meeting minutes from the November 4, 2020 meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review these?
Yes.
Is there any suggestions, corrections, or deletions?
Motion to approve.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Outstanding job once again, Mrs. Lyons. I will sign these and bring this up to the village office tomorrow. I will admit that this might be one of our record attendances for a council meeting. I'm sure they're very interested in the things we're going to say as it relates to the operations of village government, but I suspect they're here for a much bigger and equally important reason. But I will give everyone, if you haven't been on a Zoom call, and by now, if you haven't been on a Zoom call, you've lived under a rock for the last how many months. But if you're not speaking, I would ask that everyone remain on mute, because like it is at my house, it is dishwashing time and dinner time, and there's a lot of clinking and clacking and everything else. I just want everyone to be able to hear what everyone has to say. So I appreciate you accommodating that. Is there any resident that would like to address council on any issue that you would like to bring before us? I know there's a lot of people here, but if you have anything that you would like to address, please let us know now. State your name, address, and what it is that you would like for us to hear. All right, well, hearing none, we're going to go to reports of village officials, and we're going to go with the mayor's report. This is our final council meeting of 2020. It's been quite an interesting year. We have met in person, we have met on Zoom, we have met on person, and now we're going to finish it on Zoom, which is only fitting that we do so. This is the time when I get to recognize all of the wonderful volunteers that we have in the village and non-volunteers, paid employees that help make this place spin like the top that it does. It looks really easy. It looks like it's perfect, but behind that, there's a tremendous amount of work. And if everyone will just bear with me, we do this every year. And I think it's important that we recognize the people that make Terrace Park the best place to live. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone on council, and in particular their families, for their sacrificing dinner times, lost put kids to bed, lost bath time, and everything else. Your service to the village is invaluable. It's not a glamorous job. It's not a glorious job. And it's not in no way means a financially lucrative job, to say the least. But please know that I appreciate it, and I know that the residents, your bosses and my bosses, appreciate the work that you do. And I can't be more proud to serve as mayor of a village with a good cross-section of fine people that are willing to give their time with diverse thoughts, deep thoughts, and really a lot of hard work. We don't face a whole lot of really difficult decisions because we have a good staff and we do a lot of preparation up front. So I do appreciate all of you council people for doing what you do. And I can't say enough great things. And speaking about great things, I want to thank Chief Ahau. Chief Ahau is really the line of first defense, or the first offensive lineman. He is the go-to person. He is the village administrator, and he's a darn good one. He's the police chief, and he's a darn good one. And I am very, very proud over the last 5 years that I have served as mayor, not including the years as council. He's become a very good friend, and I value his counsel, his measured judgment, and his patience with me. And that, Jerry, thank you very much. Lieutenant Chin, Sergeant Pruitt, Officer Souter, Williams, Johnson, Navarra, thank you for keeping us safe. Thank you for your patience and tolerance. And thank you for your understanding that people make mistakes. People need to be held accountable. Kids are kids, and kids will do what they need to do, but they need to be put in line from time to time, as do, unfortunately, adults. I have said this time and time again, we're a wonderful place, but we have real world problems on a very small scale. I don't want anyone to forget that. It's not all perfect as people like to tease me about. We have things that we have to deal with, and a lot of this falls on Jerry and our officers, lieutenants and sergeants' shoulders, and I want to thank them for the hard work they do. But speaking about looking perfect, how about Steve Furman, Dave Evanchek, and Tim McLemore? They make this place look great. They make sure that we're safe on snowy days. They make sure that leaves are picked up. They are the backbone of the day-to-day operations, and they are what I call the unsung heroes. Everybody has interacted with them, but they may not know it, and I want to thank them very, very, very much. Bob Barkett and Katie Lyons. Bob's a clerk of courts. Katie Lyons, she's invaluable. I see her almost on a daily basis, probably much more than she would ever want to see me. She does a great job of keeping everything straight and narrow, keeping everything organized, and what a job she's done as both the clerk of council as well as the chief fiscal officer. Katie, thank you very much. Mark Castater, the trees, it's his passion. He does it well. And we continue to invest significantly in those, and I think it's going to pay dividends in years and years to come. Let's move on to emergency medical services. Chief Maggard, thank you for your time, your expertise, and your patience. You're invaluable to the village in ways that you probably don't even understand. Bruce Long, Steve Wilson, Becky Todd, Steve Maycheck, Peter Finley, Hester Sullivan, Joaquin Wells, Laura Colston, and Dr. Brendan Sheridan, thank you very much. Our volunteer members of the EMS, excuse me, Tom Barbeau, Nick Bond, Jeff Carls, Jen Dronsfeld, Steve Estep, Sam Farmer, Peter Finley, John Gatch, Dennis Glazier, Simon Higginbotham, Shauna Cruz, Bruce Long, Bob Lowry, John Maggard, Susan Maggard, Steve Mayshek, Mason Mayfield, Jill McAdoo, Erica Moore, Alex Potter, Jackie Romer, I'll mispronounce this, Kevin Sheets, Molly Steele, Ben Stevens, Hester Sullivan, Rebecca Todd, Sean Vester, Jenny Way, Joaquin Wells, Chris Wilson, Steve Wilson, Hillary Young, Jennifer Buckles, Will Buckles, and Andrew Molnar. Our fire department led by Chief Dronsfield. Chief, thank you very much for your service and your time. Dave Glassmeyer, Jeff Carl, Ty Zimmerman, Graham Harden, John Maggard, Mark Michelson, Chris Pageant, Rob Seiter, George Hefner, Mickey List, Bob Donnelly, Joe Albert, Justin Arnold, Brandon Beck, Jeff Carl, Nick Buscemi, Sean Crowley, Dave Davis, Chris Dixon, Bob Donnelly, David Downs, Stephen Dronsfeld, Mike Duckwell, Spencer Dunning, Dave Glassmeyer, Steve Gellner, Brian Graham, Graham Harden, James Hartman, Duke Hall, Bill Hayes, George Hefner, Chris Hill, Todd Johnson, Chris Kahn, Mike Kaplan, Christopher Lee, Mickey List, Michael Long, John Maggard, Mark Michelson, Jason Murphy, Chris Pageant, Alex Potter, Chris Rue, Rob Seiter, Brian Talbot, Sean Vester, Ryan Summer, Ryan Webster, and Ty Zimmerman. To everyone out there all over the world watching this communication on Zoom or online, it's volunteers like the ones that we discussed that make great communities greater. And it's the volunteers that I didn't reference that are the unsung heroes, the people that do things that people don't even know about. I said it in a prior meeting, and I'm going to say it again. It is time for the next generation to step up. It is time for people to do their part. Some of these people have been doing this for a long time, and gosh darn it, at some point you're allowed to stop. You're allowed to retire. And if that happens, we need to make sure that we have a good farm system. So the call to duty is for you new residents, younger residents, even residents who now found themselves retired that were looking for some additional things to do, it is your time. We need you. The Terrace Park Recreation needs you. The PTO needs you. Volunteerism is what makes great communities great, and we have an abundance of them, but we're not going to rest on that. We're just going to assume at some point we're going to be down on numbers. We need a farm team, and we need it now. Any questions on EMS, fire, contact anybody on council, contact the chiefs, contact Jerry, what have you. We need you. Long-winded, but I think it's important to people know that we continue to need help. Well, I'd like to really do a couple of things here in this order. We had a tremendous athletic season in the Marymount School District. From football to cross country to tennis to golf. But tonight, this is about soccer. I would be remiss without mentioning our fine women's varsity soccer team who lost in the regional final in a tough game against Cincinnati Country Day. I had the pleasure of going to that game. They are fun, they're aggressive, and they are a good team, and the future is bright. Congratulations, women, on a great, hard-fought season. And thank you for representing us well with good sportsmanship and much success in the coming year. We also have another team that I know the village would like to recognize. And I'm going to turn this over to the Vice Mayor, Jeff LeMay.
Very good. Thank you, Mayor. The highlight of our council meeting. We're joined tonight by members of the Marymount boys soccer team. I see some of the parents and the coaching staff, and it's an honor to have you here this evening. We want to return this honor in some way, small way, by dedicating this day, December 8th, as Marymount Soccer Team Day. Through the reading of a proclamation, the mayor will do this in just a minute. First, I want to thank you again for joining us the way that you have competed. It was a joy for me and my family certainly to watch each and every one of you and to watch the coaches in the dignified manner and the competitive ways you played and how well you represented Marymount. I'm going to have the mayor read the proclamation here in just a minute. I promise it'll be brief. And then Coach Vonnegs, if you could have some comments, and then we could close it out and let the rest of you go while we continue with council business. So, Mayor.
Thank you, Jeff. I have here a proclamation from the office of the mayor of the village of Terrace Park, and there's the originals are at the village office. If we want copies of those, great. If we want to make originals, I'm happy to sign as many of them as you guys want. But be it proclaimed that whereas the Marymount High School soccer program has been a leader in the high school community for many years, and whereas under the guidance and passion of coaches Eric Rangus, Tyler Martin, Jeff Heinbaugh, Chris Shutton, Mike Bexford, and many other great coaches, Marymount High School has produced many talented student athletes. And whereas the Marymount High School parents and fans have supported all of our talented soccer players through the encouragement and sacrifice to help them achieve every goal. And whereas, as with every Marymount High School soccer player, being a state championship is a goal they all dream to achieve. And whereas, on November 14, 2020, the Marymount High School soccer team represented their school with good sportsmanship in completing an undefeated and untied season, culminated by great play in winning the school's first state soccer championship. I got goosebumps. Therefore, I, Tom Tepe, Mayor of the Village of Terrace Park, proclaim today, December 8, 2020, as Marymount High School Soccer State Champions Day in Terrace Park, and invite residents to join all Marymount athletes, parents, and fans in celebration of our 2020 state championships. Congratulations, gentlemen and coaches.
Well done. Eric, if you could unmute, or if we could unmute Eric Vonnegs, I'm sure he'd want to say a few words.
Oh, honestly, it's just amazing. This is a classic example of why we love working in this district. And the level of community support that we had throughout this season was just unreal. As I look and I see the faces here, people we recognize, you turn around, you see people cheering stand in the stands, and the players will be the ones to tell you that the deeper we got in the tournament, the louder the crowd, it buoyed them in those tense, in those stressful moments. And the players would talk about how just the support lifted them. And we all know how tough 2020 has been. And to have a season like this and recognition like this just kind of helps. It kind of helps soften how rough 2020 has been. So on behalf of the staff and on behalf of the players, I can't thank you enough for the recognition, the support, and the honor. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. That's it was exciting. I didn't make every game, but I made a whole lot of them. And boy, oh boy, it's exciting. It also kind of makes me feel a little bit old when I see somebody like Henry Buck running down the side. He's bigger than I am, and I coached him when he was a wee tot. So what do you do? Gentlemen, well done. Thank you very much for representing Marymount, and we look forward to great things next year.
All right.
Thank you.
This is
Thank
the
you.
point in time where you should feel not obligated to the rest of the meeting.
Yeah, please. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining us.
Click. All right.
Very good.
Thank you, Jeff. Thanks for putting that together. What a great idea. It was, it's really neat to be able to do that. I've had the chance to do that, I think, one other time as mayor, but I look forward to hopefully doing it again next year for all sports.
Good. Thank you for indulging it and letting it happen.
Oh, it's fun. Last thing I have is COVID's out there. It's creeping up on us. Stay safe, stay smart, be respectful and tolerant of everyone's sensitivity levels to this. But I think the daily emails that come from the school that indicate that one or more people every day are contracting this thing just tells us we just need to be smart. And thank goodness it's cold outside, and so we shouldn't have any mass gathering issues outside like you would maybe face in the spring or the summer or the fall. Other than that, I want to say thank you again to everybody. And that's the end of the mayor's report. Chief Fiscal Officer, Mrs. Lyons.
No report.
Solicitor Jeff Forbes, I do not believe he is here. We will move on. Clerk of Council, Mrs.
No.
Lyons.
No report.
EMS Chief John Maggard. He's not out. How about Fire Chief Johnsfeld?
Thank you, Mayor. No report. I just want to make sure that everyone is, now that the weather's turning colder, people are going to start using their fireplaces. Make sure before you start your fires to get it inspected annually and then cleaned as needed.
It's your public service announcement from your fire chief.
PSA.
Thank you, sir. Police Chief and Village Administrator, Jerry Hale.
Thank you, sir. Actually, my report consists of, it's been a pleasure working with all of you this year, and you guys are true leaders. It makes it easy. And I'm looking forward to 21. That's the end of my report.
Great. Thanks, Jerry. Any member of council outside of their committees?
Hey, Mayor Tuppy, do we have any update on sewers?
Any member of council outside of their committee? Absolute radio silence. Nothing. But I mean, which is unexpected, but it shouldn't be, because we have been delayed, we have been kicked around, and then we had an intervening election, which will bring in 2 new county commissioners. So I fully expect that we will go directly to go and not collect $200 or whatever that saying is. I continue to be frustrated. I continue to hound them. It's just, we'll just keep trudging along.
Should we have any concern that we come 2025, we might have an issue, or?
I have a concern every day, but at least what I've been trying to do is paper the file till, in the event when that day does come and they try to play hardball with us, that we can paper the file and say that we've done certain things. In January, I will ask for an executive session with council to discuss certain aspects of that I want to make sure that I get everyone's input on and see if it's something that we want to think about as far as protecting the citizens in the village. I don't see sewers anytime soon. Boy, I could be wrong, and even if they come back to us and say they want us and they're willing to spend that kind of money, we don't even know if the village wants it or if the residents want it. So there's still a tremendous amount of work, and I wish that I could give you an update. But that's all I got.
Gotcha. Okay. Thanks.
No, I appreciate it. Planning and zoning, John Gasky.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. No report this evening.
Buildings and grounds, Mrs. Sharp.
Just a quick update. Mark, our wonderful tree guy, is moving ahead on this next set of trees to take down. There are about 30 plus trees that are going to come down. It's about a third of the list, and they're prioritized based on risk, basically, to personal, self or property damage. So if you got a tree with an X that doesn't get taken down, it's just lower on the risk list. But and he also says thank you once again for the increased appropriation, so he can keep moving ahead on that list. So
That's great. Yeah, thanks to him for doing that task. I would tell people that if you have a tree in front of your home and the tree is taken down, don't expect the stump to be immediately removed and ground down. Is that right, Chief and Regina? Sometimes it's just done on a bid basis.
Well, we're trying to, because of the increase in funding, it's part of the program now that we want to get it out right away as soon as possible.
it'll happen much quicker than it used to happen. It may not happen like the next day or within the same process, but it's definitely going to be quicker than it was in the past.
No stump will be left behind.
And that's the end of my report, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Finance, Jeff Lemay.
Thank you, Mayor. I have one ordinance. This is something we do annually. I'll describe it and then I'll read it. We need to certify that the budget we're submitting for 2021 is what we want to submit. We do this annually, late November or in December. And as far as I know, we have not made any changes to our anticipated revenue and spending. So all we're doing here is certifying the 2021 budget. Unless there's any questions, I'd like to introduce in advance the third reading ordinance 12-1 2020, which is the 2021 final appropriation. Can I get a second?
Second.
Gasky,
Aye.
Ingebrigtsen,
Aye.
Lehman,
Aye.
Lemay,
Aye.
Lindell,
Aye.
Sharp.
Aye.
I move to adopt the ordinance as an emergency.
Second.
Gasky,
Aye.
Ingebrigtsen,
Aye.
Lehman,
Aye.
Lemay,
Aye.
Lindell,
Aye.
Sharp.
Aye.
Great. Thank you. On ordinance 12-1, the resolution 12-1, we're late in our budget year. And again, I want to thank Katie and Jerry for all the work they do. If you're unfamiliar with the UAN system, there's probably 200 cost centers. Here we are at the end of a fiscal year in December, making an $11,000 adjustment, which has no increase in our overall budget on a budget that was passed a year and a half ago. And I think that's pretty good work. In this one, we're just simply moving monies that we have available into areas that we need it in those three specific areas. So unless there's any questions, I'd like to introduce in advance the third reading resolution 12-1 2020 to empower the chief fiscal officer to revise the 2020 appropriation budget. Can I get a second?
Second.
Gasky,
Aye.
Ingebrigtsen,
Aye.
Lehman,
Aye.
Lemay,
Aye.
Lindell,
Aye.
Sharp.
Aye.
I'd like to move to adopt the resolution as an emergency.
Second.
Gasky,
Aye.
Ingebrigtsen,
Aye.
Lehman,
Aye.
Lemay,
Aye.
Mandel,
Aye.
Sharp.
Aye.
Great. Thank you. End of my report, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Jeff. For all you relatively new council people, we used to have to open up the books on January 1, so we'd have a meeting January 1 in the morning, so that we, at no point did the village not have the ability to spend money if needed. It's kind of nice to be able to get that out of the way and
Yep.
sleep in a bit. Katie, I have signed these and the minutes, of which I will drop off tomorrow.
Thank you.
Rules of law, Mrs. Lehman.
And I have no report. Thank you.
Thank you. Public Works, Mr. Lindell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No report.
Public Safety, Mrs. Ingebrigtsen.
Thank you. I just want to second your thanks, Mayor, to our public safety chiefs and officials for all of the hard work they do around our village. They keep us safe, they keep us happy, and it is greatly appreciated now and all year long, especially in a difficult year like this. And that is the end of my report.
A tough one. Well, another year has gone by. Hopefully we left the village in a better place than we found it on January 1, 2020. So that having been said, is there any continued business? Is there any new business? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
All in favor, say aye.
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 Everyone have a great holiday with your families. Be safe, and see you around.
Thank
Wear a
you.
mask.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye,